man. Now, you know what happens all the time. Hey, Adam, what's up, man? How did you get your shop started? Where did you start from? How did that whole process go? I want to know the entire story. You know how many times somebody's asked me that very question? I don't really think ever, but I'm going to tell you.
And now, you're watching the not so boring and not so exciting origin story channel of YouTube. Welcome to Bogey Vision.
Hey, so what is up and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on another video. Let's get started on this story. So this story starts back in about 2014, and I wanted to make this video showcase the journey of actually how I got into what I'm doing today. Now, of course, there's all kind of other stuff going on in the background. I worked at numerous places. I worked at Publix. I worked at a printing company. I was sharpening blades for quite a while, and I'm not going to get into that so much. More so, I want to get into the story of how I got into cars and where I'm at today. So like most every one of you, if you work on cars heavily, you started in your parents' garage, and this is actually where it went down. This is where I painted my first full car. That was a Mazda Miata. I actually have some video of that I'll show you right now. So that was really cool, and it was really cool that we captured it. At the time, I wasn't doing anything with the footage, but I wanted to take pictures and take a couple different videos to actually show some stuff that I really thought it was cool, and who would have known that I would eventually put that video up on YouTube. So when I was painting in here, we put all kinds of tarps up. We were hanging them from everywhere to make sure there wasn't overspray getting all over everything. And man, this is actually some paint that I pulled out the cabinet. This is DAP. It's purple from an EK, and this is dated 2010. So I was painting and I was messing around with stuff back in 2010, and then from the parents' garage I eventually moved over to this shop. I'll tell you what, man, being back over here, I do not miss it. I mean, don't get me wrong, this was my first official shop, and that was actually my shop right there. You see that one with that sign, D06. This is where I did my first car out here, where it was in kind of a better setup than just inside of a garage. I had a little setup inside the shop, and the first car that I painted over here was actually this brown Accord. He had a really nice, really stands out, and this car was one of the first car that I actually got some recognition for doing an awesome paint job on, as opposed to the Miata that did not turn out so great. And also another car that I did over here was this blue Del Sol. That was actually at IBOC 3 years ago, and that was awesome to see a car of mine at an event that I actually painted, that I actually worked on. We did the entire exterior, the entire engine bay, and it was just awesome. That was really cool. Another thing that I did over here, it was actually done, I have a couple pictures of it parked right there. That was the 4-door EK hatch, the converting a regular old 4-door Civic into a 4-door EK hatch by cutting off the back of it, then putting the hatch back onto the 4-door, and that was really awesome. So man, looking around here, I do not miss it. It was horrible. There's no bathrooms over here, so you know, when the office up front closes at 5 o'clock and we have guys working out here in all these different shops till really late in the day or even into the middle of the night, peeing on the shops, dude, it stunk like urine over here. So one day as I was working at the storage unit shop, man, that shop, I do not miss it whatsoever. I had to come over here because I had to get some paint supplies for this white bumper that I'm painting. Now, there's a funny story behind this bumper that actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise. I got stuck with the cost of this bumper, the cost of painting it, and I also had to eat all the labor of actually painting the bumper because the owner never actually came to pick it up. Now, where this story actually turns into a blessing is I was over here getting the supplies, and then there was another gentleman getting something else, and then we were just both waiting. We got to talking, and then he asked me if I would be able to and willing to install some floors on a 52 Chevy truck that he had. And at first, I didn't know, I didn't really want to do it, but then I thought, I don't have anything else going on. Let me go over to his shop and check it out, and that eventually led me to here. So from the middle of Orlando, that was on the corner of Forsyth and Hanging Moss. If you're familiar with the area, you know you can get your car worked on, and you can also buy drugs over there in the same exact place. Convenient for others, not so much for myself. So now I'm over here in Christmas, Florida, and this is actually the truck that I worked on, that I did the floors. As you can see before, it was extremely rusty, and he had this kit that he bought online, so I went ahead and I fit the kit completely in there, welded everything up, and then we primed it down with an epoxy primer, and it turned out phenomenal. And I don't know if you've noticed these parts over there, that bed right there, all that stuff over there is actually parts of that 52 Chevy truck that I actually worked on the cab. So that was about early July when I started working on the truck, and then I still had my shop over at Forsyth, and then I was back and forth doing some work with the guy that owned the actual property. Kind of got cool with him, and then eventually I was doing a lot of boat work with him until this happened. RIP. Well, no, not really. That wasn't the reason why I stopped working with him. We just kind of went our separate ways a little bit. I'm doing my thing over here. We're still great friends and everything is all cool. So I just kind of rent this space from him. So right when I got it, all it was and all it looked like was this right here. See, it was just the overhang, and then eventually we got to talking and we got to negotiating, and he said, why don't I just move my operation over here? So that's exactly what I did. So then I took the time, ground down all the floors, got them epoxy painted, and I'll show you where this picture was taken. So if you see on the Peyton booth side, right here, that view right out here, that's where this picture was taken. As you can see, just the floors. And then I also have some pictures of right here. So the Ranchero would have been right here, and then the shipping container. And then the shipping container right there is what we saw on the other side of my old Ranchero. And speaking of the Ranchero, right now I'm getting it sanded down and getting ready to do my paint job. So I know that's been a long time coming. That'll be a video coming very soon. So after I got the floors painted, we eventually got the walls put up. And also, man, it's pretty cool to see that black Civic is my brother's car, a cop with a swap before he painted it. So it's really cool, really awesome to kind of look back and reminisce on some of these pictures and see some of the memories, even though it was only about a year and a half ago, but it's come a really long way. So we got both sides built out exactly how I wanted, and didn't cost a tremendous amount of money. And I mean, you can tell it's not a really permanent shop. It's not gonna last forever, but it'll be perfect for me. I built it, and that's what else could I ask for besides being in a shop that I built by hand. And I just love it out here, man. It is so much better than where I was at before. So here's just a couple pictures, like I'm saying, of the building process through some of the stages and a couple different things like that. And also the very first thing that I did over here was this black Scion FRS, this wide body FRS. That's the first official job that I did. And that's actually where my YouTube career, I don't know if I can call it a career at this point, but that's where I'd like to say my YouTube career started, was with that build. So as I was building this shop, I always knew in the back of my mind, well, it was originally intended for whenever I put any pictures of any of my project up on Instagram, I wanted my shop to be recognizable, and I wanted you guys to notice it. And that was my main intention for putting up all these signs I've just collected at different swap meets and different events throughout the years. And it turned out really nicely because it works perfect for the YouTube stuff. So that's really cool, and that's what's going on. Like I just mentioned, the Ranchero, mid video right now. I'm going to show you everything, but I want to get plenty ahead of the game before I put a video together, because some of the stuff is really boring. And also over here with Project Pepto, we kind of have some issues because I can't get the car tuned. I can't take it anywhere until I get tires. And my wheels that I have right there, my Inky RS3s, the 3-piece wheels that I completely rebuilt. I got the hardware for them, but 2 of the 4 wheels have a thicker face than the other 2, and the hardware that I got is not long enough. So I'm in the middle of figuring all that out. So that's just a little update on the Ranchero, update on Project Pepto. All of that stuff will be on the way very soon. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to know in the comment section below, I want to hear some of your story. How did you get started? Was it very similar to me? And I mean story as far as how you got involved with cars and what you're doing and just different stuff like that. I want to see, and I'm curious, and I'm gonna be down there responding to each and every one of you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video, comment, subscribe, do all the stuff. You know what it is, YouTube. I'm out.